Welcome to True Crime Unleashed. I got to see for the first time last night the interviews of Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk. My honest impression of those interviews, which should have been interrogations, well, one, Dylan was only in there for 5 minutes. Yeah, 5 minutes. And Bethany's lasted way longer, even though Bethany didn't really see anything that night, or so she claims. Everything was just so back asswards. Bethany should have been the one doing the 5 minute interview, and Dylan should have been the one doing the 20-minute interview. And Blaker sitting there acting like he has never been to the house because he asked Bethany where it was, even though we've seen him on body cam numerous times for noise complaints. He threatened Hunter Johnson and another individual for being in the house throwing a party when none of the roommates were home. My initial reaction was like, what is going on here? What the hell was going on with these interviews? Bethany was being coached through everything because you could hear Blaker go, let's just stick to the timeline. Let's get the timeline. And then Bethany mentioning Maddie going over to the Sigma Chi party. That's the first time I've ever heard that. We've all been told from day one that Maddie and Kaylee went to the corner club. And then after the corner club, they went to the grub truck and then went home. The way Bethany laid it out is that Maddie initially went to the Sigma Chi party. And then Dylan talking about the Winco stalker, which, the cops had already talked to him and everything. He saw Kaylee at Winco, thought she was really cute, thought she was really pretty, and he was going to ask her out on a date. And when he approached her, he chickened out and turned around and walked away. But you had Dylan stating like it's a current event, and it wasn't a current event. And then you had Bethany saying that they all were in Kaylee's room and hanging out. And what happened to uh, Dylan and Bethany and Dylan's friend binge watching the Vampire Diaries? And then Bethany stating, which blew my mind. It really did. It blew my mind, stating that she had not seen Xana and Ethan at all that night, even though she said the last time that she saw them was at the Sigma Chi party. And then we've heard from Xana's dad that she had called him and let him know that her and Ethan were watching a movie and eating pizza because there was a pizza box on top of the trash out back with Xana's name on it. Now, could they have been watching the movie and stuff in Xana's room? Is that why Bethany didn't see Xana after the Sigma Chi party? Quite possibly. Was there a TV in Xana's room? I do not know. The last thing I knew that there was a TV in the living room. Yeah, they could have had a TV in Xana's room because Bethany had one in her room. I'm not sure about uh, Kaylee and Maddie if they had TVs in their room, but Dylan could have had a TV in her room. Everything with these interviews, guys, made no sense to me. None. No sense. Everything was crisscrossed. You had Dylan, who was the eyewitness, who uh, allegedly saw the perpetrator and his bushy eyebrows in a 5-minute interview. And then you have Bethany, who lived on the first floor and didn't see nothing. She had a longer one than Dylan. And there was two things I noticed. Bethany was in complete tears. Dylan wasn't. I don't know if you guys caught on to that. And why was Bethany's interview so heavily redacted? And they had that blur on her face and yeah, on her body. I'm sorry, with a blurred out face and blurred out body, and she's wearing a yellow hoodie, she looked like a giant chicken. She looked like a giant chicken sitting there because you couldn't see her face. All you could see was the yellow hoodie, yellow like a chicken. I know Brian admitted guilt, took a plea, which was a stupid plea. But he admitted guilt. He pled guilty to all 5 counts. So he's spending the rest of his life behind bars. While life goes on outside those walls for the rest of us, you have Dylan and Bethany in those 2 interviews that made no sense to me. In my opinion, it made no sense. Yeah, a quick 5-minute interview for Dylan, which should have been a longer one, maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, even an hour. But 5 minutes. And you had Bethany, who was inconsolable for 20 minutes, and she was being led through everything by the hand by Blaker. She was she was being coached about let's just start the timeline, stick with the timeline. When the timeline got us all this fucked up shit. The timeline is what skewed everything. The 8-hour gap, which was not even brought up once to Dylan or Bethany on why they didn't call 911 in that 8 hours. It was not brought up to either one of them, which irritated the shit out of me. They spent 8 hours in that house on social media, calling their parents. If they, if one of them would have called 911 right after Dylan saw the intruder, we would not be going through all of this chaos that was the case the last 3 years, and it'll be 3 years coming up this November 13th. But no, they didn't call 911. They said that and Dylan was basically an actress the day of the sentencing. You say these people are your friends. You say you love them. You say you miss them. Then why in the shit did you not call 911 for 8 damn hours? 8 hours. Not a 911 call. Got on TikTok. Got on Instagram. Was sending messages on Snapchat. Was calling the private driver and adding the private driver to her contact list. Was those four things more important than your so-called friends, your so-called roommates? Were those four things more important than them laying in their bedrooms bleeding out? Clearly, they weren't important. Your social media was more important. Your messaging back and forth was more important. But we're supposed to believe that they're the victims, that they're the surviving roommates. Yeah, I don't buy into that narrative. I don't. After what all I've seen that these two girls say and do, and Bethany switching her stories up to Blaker after telling the first responding officers a completely different story, and she switches it up to Blaker, and Blaker has to remind her what she had told the responding officers, and then she was evasive and started backtracking. No wonder a lot of us, the past 3 years, looked at these two girls like they were suspects because they acted like it. Now, I'm not throwing blame on Dylan or Bethany at all. I'm just calling out the hypocrisy in this case when it comes to these two. Complete and utter hypocrisy just to protect these two that couldn't get their stories straight, that was lying all the way through both interviews. You could clearly tell Bethany was lying because she was acting evasive. Like, come on, people, come on. This is these interviews, guys, were a complete and utter shit show. All it was doing was setting up the narratives. That's all it was doing. That's all that came out of it was setting up the narratives. Oh well, let's try to let's try to start stick to the timeline, Blaker. The timeline's what got us in this damn mess. The timeline, the probable crap affidavit, the plea deal. If I was Brian, when it comes to this plea deal, I wouldn't have I wouldn't have pussied up like he did. That or Massoth or Ann Taylor told him in private that he was not going to win this case. He was going to be found guilty. He was going to be sentenced to death. And that could have been another reason why he took this plea to save his life. But it stinks to high heaven. It does. It stinks to high heaven. Less than a month before trial, you drop this plea deal in the judge's lap. Because even the judge was surprised about the plea deal because he was setting up for jury summons and jury selection. I hope you guys, as my viewers and my listeners, kind of see some of the points that I'm making here. And if you do, please leave a comment down below on what your thoughts and your feelings about these interview tapes. Because clearly, in my honest opinion, they should have been interrogations, not just softball questions being led through so they can get the timeline and the narratives started. I hope everyone has a good Sunday. This is True Crime Unleashed, and make sure you guys hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and click that bell notification for my new uploads. We just need to put our critical thinking caps on when it comes to this case. Even though, yes, I know the case is over. It's over for them. But we're stuck with the what ifs and what the hell happened. Because it's clear we're never gonna get a straight answer from these people. We're never gonna get a straight answer from Bill Thompson, Judge Hippler, Judge, Mowry, Blaker, or Dylan and Bethany. You all have a good day. Peace.